What's poppin', peeps? T-Money up in the heezy. Happy Wednesday here for Body Bags. No theme this week, so I chose a slasher film, one of my personal favorites from 1986, the year I was born, Slaughter High. Now, this film was just re-released on Blu-ray for the first time by Vestron Video / Lionsgate Entertainment, which I'm really excited about. I love this film. This was like a film that I watched over and over again in college on DVD. I discovered it then, and I've never had enough of it since. So, the film's directed. There's actually 3 directors in the film: George Dugdale, Mark Ezra, and Peter Litton. It's produced by Dick Randall and Steve Manassian, who served as producers on Friday the 13th and Pieces. So, this was not their first rodeo. As to say, the film stars Carolyn Monroe, who we know from Maniac. I love Carolyn Monroe. Simon Scudamore plays Marty, the nerd / killer in the film. Carmen Iannaccone plays Skip. Donna Yeager plays Stella. So on and so forth. Bunch of no-name actors. Bunch of no-name 35-year-olds that are supposed to be playing high school students, which is really funny. But you can get by that. It's not a big deal. So I guess I'll read you guys the synopsis. There's murder in the halls. There's horror in the halls. Lynching in the lunchroom. Murder in the metal shop. Welcome to Slaughter High, where the students are dying to get out. In high school, Marty was the kid all the students teased, taunted, and tortured mercilessly. One day, things went too far. One of their jokes backfired, disfiguring Marty for life. Now, 5 years later, Marty has arranged a special reunion for all his high school friends. The prom queen, the jock, the class clown, the rebel, and a few select others have been invited, and it's going to be a gala of gore. So essentially what you have here is your revenge slasher flick. You've got your typical nerd, a lot like The Burning in the sense that people play a prank on the victim. The victim strikes back weeks later. The only difference is, like in The Burning, the victims are actually kids that are what do you call it? Innocent. They don't have anything to do with the crimes. In this one, he's taking vengeance on the students that deformed him. I love the atmosphere in this film. I have to say, the setting in the abandoned school where they have their reunion is great. The set design's great. The acting is cheeky as all hell, but it's fun. Carolyn Monroe, I love her. She's just so fun to look at, for one. And she's just fun. I enjoy watching her perform. And yeah, the other actors are good. There's actually one, Skip, played by Carmen Iannaccone in particular. He plays kind of like the Joker of the group, the trickster. He's great. He actually brings a mask, which is featured on the inside of the disc. That's like the mask that the killer wears. And like always, it's like, where does the killer get his mask? He gets it from Skip, the jokester who brings it, I guess, to the reunion. I think that's how it happens. But, so basically in this film, you got a group of kids that kind of band together, all the popular kids, torturing a poor innocent nerd. In the beginning, there's a sequence where he's tortured in the bathroom. He's pantsed. What do they call that when they pull your underwear up to your ears and then they give you a swirly in the toilet bowl? It was ruthless, man. And you think, wow, that's enough for somebody to want to murder the fuckers that are doing this to him. No. They proceed to play another prank on him where he gets acid. I don't want to spoil the details, but he gets acid all over his body and burned and is horribly deformed. Years later, he decides it's time to strike back at these assholes. And that's exactly what we get. A tongue-in-cheek, fun, kind of creative slasher film. I mean, the tropes are all there. It's very stereotypical, run-of-the-mill slasher, but it's exactly what I personally love. You know, I love all of those. The nerd seeking revenge, wearing a mask, killing the jocks. I mean, it just could go on. I eat that shit up. I could watch the same film 100 times. I could watch the same story in 100 different films. I think that's what I'm trying to say. As long as it's told slightly differently with different characters. I mean, I love it. Did I mention Harry Manfredini did the score for this? Something to note is apparently he was the highest paid dude on set, and the producers wanted him to pretty much replicate the Friday the 13th soundtrack and just kind of with a few tweaks and put it in here. He had actually provided them material for what he thought was going to be the original soundtrack for the film that he scored, but they said, nope, we want something more like the stuff you did in Friday the 13th. Just give us that. So that's what you get, although I still think it's a pretty memorable soundtrack that... You guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. Just fucking... It's like you love to hate it. It's funny, and I just love it. Like, I'll always be ingrained in my brain, that song. So I can say this is a good example where the theme soundtrack song is just an essential part of it. So whatever he did right, in my opinion. I mean, I love Harry Manfredini's work, and I think it's actually quite different. Personally, I mean, there's definitely cues and, like, things that you hear that are similarities between, but it's the same guy. So for the producers supposedly telling him to replicate Friday the 13th, I think he created something quite different and enjoyable. Quite a bit. Another interesting thing about the film, and it's kind of sad, is that the Simon Scudamore, who plays the nerd / serial killer or killer in the film, actually committed suicide in real life, like shortly after the film was made. So I read somewhere that while he was supposed to be celebrating, he was pretty much at the lowest point of his life, hence he committed suicide. So that's a bummer. It's kind of it kind of adds to the mystique of the film, though. It's like, why did this guy that played this, acted as this nerd, I mean, he must have had other, I'm not one to speculate. I have no clue what he was going through, but it's kind of weird that happened. And let's see. I mean, I think that pretty much covers it. I really like the Jester's mask that is used, the killer used. I don't know if I think I didn't touch on that. Soundtrack's great, acting's great, atmosphere in the school is great. The kills are great. There are kills involving, oh man, intestines, people drinking acid and intestines pouring out of their stomachs. People getting fucking, excuse my language, tractors, heavy-duty tractor equipment, running tractor equipment, mutilating their chests, like propellers stirring in their chests. One woman tries to get the blood off her and takes a bath, and the bathtub is filled with acid, and it's just great, man. I mean, like, I read somewhere somebody said that they didn't think the special effects were great. I think they're awesome in this movie. I think they're so fun. So again, we're at 7-8 minutes now. If you guys like slashers, cliche, run-of-the-mill slashers from the 80s that just give you everything that you want from a slasher, and you want to have a good time and laugh and drink a few beers and watch a good slasher flick, I highly recommend Slaughter High from 1986. So yeah, guys, you can grab this, I don't know where, probably on Amazon for like $25, something like that. They're pricey, but it's very, 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 very much worth it, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of this film. This was the highly anticipated release for me for the year, so of course I'm going to say I love it, but I mean, it's just a good time. And if I discovered it at a time when I was in like looking to find new horror films, like a transitional period. I had seen all the classics, so I was looking for those like second tier slashers. This is probably my favorite. So check it out, guys. Slaughter High, 1986. T-Money signing out for Body Bags. Catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.